Hello, friends. Lee Sanders back with you all for a new episode of the RCWR show this Monday night, August 3rd, 2026. Come one, come all, minutes removed from WWE RAW. They actually went into a little bit of overtime this week. It was a first. I am so used to, they're going to go until about 10:15. They're gonna go until about maybe 10:25-ish. Okay. Nah, that bad boy went just a little bit past 10:30. That was a first. But I appreciate WWE giving us a little bit more extra bang for the buck and everything. We had a solid main event match between Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys, as it was a street fight. I also saw some solid tag team action as Chad Gable and Penta teamed up to take on Dominik Mysterio and JD McDonagh. Love that JD. Overall, this episode of WWE Raw, as far as the in-ring action goes, I gotta say it was pretty solid. But also at the same time, we got sprinkled in there some returns as Stephanie Vaquer made her return. We hadn't seen her since like WrestleMania, so it was great seeing her back again. But then also, we got to see the return of the man, Becky Lynch. Yes. So better late than never. I mean, timing is just perfect. I definitely am loving it. We also saw after 8 years away from WWE, but if you know your wrestling promotions, you definitely were watching him in TNA, big time wrestling. You also were watching him in AEW. Big Cass made his return to the WWE and in really, really good, strong fashion. We also found out what is next for Oba Ray. I was about to say Oba Reigns. That's an interesting combination right there. I know how I came across that name too, because I was thinking about both of them at the same time I was. But we found out what's next for Roman Reigns potentially, and kind of what might be on the horizon for Oba Femi. So, well-rounded episode. It felt like the all new, the all different WWE Raw. It had a very interesting kind of cool feel for it. As far as like fresh faces, I don't know what it is. It's just something that you could say to me, Lee, not for nothing, but XYZ. This been going on for a minute now, dog. I don't know. Tonight was just kind of one of those, man. Yeah, it's all about a whole bunch of new, fresh faces. It kind of made me feel good. It gave me a nice little adrenaline shot to a certain degree. No polls up this week, by the way. I normally would ask you guys, what did you think about tonight's WWE Raw? We're not going to do any polls tonight. We'll forward it to next week and all that. But yo, I do want to give a shout out. Appreciate you guys that had cast your votes for SummerSlam weekend. So I know by now a decent amount of you guys had trickled on in after we did the post shows and you let your voices be heard. I am looking at the final tally results for night 1 and 2 of SummerSlam on our main polls. If you didn't get a chance to cast your vote, you can hop on over to youtube.com/the RCWR show and click on the post section. So, final tally as it stands right now for night 1 of SummerSlam. Top dog 46% gave it a thumbs up. Meanwhile, 29% staying in the middle, and 25% of you gave night 1 a thumbs down. Meanwhile, for night 2, and I purposely switched it up. I made sure y'all weren't going to be able to go boom, 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 boom. I switched it up to really make you read carefully. 9% of you gave SummerSlam Night 2 a thumbs down. I wonder if you all mainly did that because of who the GIF image is in that one. I'm curious. Or if you legit felt that way. I'm curious. Meanwhile, 5% of you decided, nah, Lee, I'm going to stay in the middle for that one. Oh, a tie at 5%. The other half skipped night 2 of SummerSlam, apparently. So if that was you and you ended up checking out my post show as a result, appreciate you. Appreciate you. And top dog, 82% gave SummerSlam night 2 A thumbs up. So looking, we almost got identical voting. It's just off by a couple as far as the people that voted. When I look at the overall thumbs up for night one compared to night two, is this a fair assessment, y'all? Is this a fair assessment that majority of you all, now that it's in the books, enjoyed night two more than night one? Is that the correct assessment I am to have here based on the results? Because it sure seems that way. 82% thumbs up for night two of SummerSlam versus 46% for night one of SummerSlam. So if you agree with that assessment, definitely pat yourself on the back. You can also give me a little shout out, little comment as well. Hope you guys' week is off to a great start. Mine's is definitely off to a great start. I cannot really complain. More on me later on. Let's get through some of this Raw stuff here tonight, because this was definitely, I was nodding in my head off and on throughout the night, was loving what I was getting. I love how everything had kicked off at the top there with the tribal chief Roman Reigns victorious in his match against Seth Rollins. Look, I know that I know that some of my friends, my brothers and sisters in the podcasting world, uh, some weren't really feeling the Roman Reigns Seth Rollins match from SummerSlam. That may sound ridiculously crazy to you all, but and I saw this happen more than once with some of my friends, my brothers and sisters in the podcasting world. I actually saw just your everyday wrestling fan that's been watching the WWE product for a long time go, yeah, that match didn't do it for me, dog. And I understand that. Like when it's all said and done, isn't that so cool? Like I know what I'm getting ready to say may sound just a little too cheesy and an easy cop out and all that other shit. But no, like legit, isn't it cool that we all don't like the same thing? I mean, really, when you take a step back and you think about it, if we all like the same thing, God, the world would be just boring as fuck, wouldn't it? And I was here on this show for a couple of weeks leading up to that match between Roman and Seth. And I said to you guys, what are they going to do that's essentially going to be different from the other gazillion times that they matched up with one another? How are they going to really make the fans go, if you did not watch this match, my God, you really missed out because that's your fault. We're going to make you regret that decision. And I thought, look, definitely not a match of the year candidate for me. I'm being perfectly honest with you. Was it a great match though? In my personal book, yes, it was a great match. Was it one of the better matches that I've seen of these two guys when I just go back down memory lane? Yes, I would I would dare say so. I believe it's in my top five. If I'm just looking at them and one on one, it's definitely in my top five for sure. But I wouldn't call it a match of the year. I wouldn't call it must see TV, must see wrestling. I wouldn't dub it as that, but it was a good match. I enjoyed. I think we all can be in agreement here, and I am a huge CM Punk fan. Huge CM Punk fan. Very rare will you find me say anything negative about CM Punk, not unless I really feel it's warranted. Okay, and it's constructive criticism and all that mixed in a nice, pretty little ball, right? Love Cody, but I thought that match that they had for night one of SummerSlam, and I got to compare that to what Roman and Seth did. Forget about it. You can give me the Roman and the Seth Rollins any day of the week. I'll take that over Punk and Cody. Was not a fan of Cody and Punk whatsoever. Was not a fan of that match, which is crazy because you just would have thought we'd have got an instant classic right there. Now, for some people, maybe it was a classic. But as we talked about on the SummerSlam post show, I pretty much beg to differ and everything. But it was just interesting seeing some of the comments out there about that Roman Reigns Seth Rollins matchup. And look, if that match wasn't your cup of tea, God bless you. More power to you. I still love you, right? We still gonna eat at the cookout and all that good shit. So bring the booze and all that good stuff. We still gonna get down. But nah, I enjoyed that match. So Roman Reigns coming out there tonight, giving props to Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns pretty much saying, I had to go do this match. I had to do this against Seth Rollins. I had to prove to myself without any help, no backup. I had to prove to myself that, I had what it took and all that. And so it was nice seeing a really cool and you know what, very rare that we've seen Roman Reigns interact with the fans because this was really uncharacteristic. Roman Reigns came out and he was giving dabs to a couple of kids. He was giving dabs to a couple of adults and all that. And I'm going, whoa, we don't normally see Roman do this. Roman's usually just, I'm coming out here, I'm doing my thing, right? He act like don't touch me, right? He's kind of usually acting like that, but nah, this was one of those rare instances where Roman was really in a good old jolly mood and everything for what it was worth. So I enjoyed seeing that little part coming out of him. I want to see more of that. So more of that would be badass. So anyway, he gets in there, gives Seth Rollins his flowers and all that. And from there, gets interrupted by one LA Knight. I actually got goosebumps looking at this because I'm going, oh man, we got two of the best on the microphone here. This is actually, this is going to be actually pretty damn good. Let's see what LA Knights got to say here. By the way, to the crowd there in attendance tonight, y'all were rocking Des Moines. Y'all did good out there tonight. Give yourselves a pat on the back. So LA Knight coming out, congratulating Roman Reigns for his championship defense, doing it all by himself, all that good stuff. Gives him his props and all of that and everything. Give him his props for still being the world heavyweight champion, but tells him that he is still a fraud. The guy is still a fraud and that he's been calling Roman's name out for months. And he put the bloodline between them, did Roman. He beat all of them, and now he wants for Roman Reigns to be very charitable. Same way he was charitable towards Seth Rollins, he wants him to be charitable towards him and give him a crack at that world championship. Roman Reigns, on the other hand, he's like, nah. Like, what exactly did you do? Okay, you went and you won some tag match at SummerSlam. Like, okay, whoopee fucking do. I mean, literally, this was Roman Reigns. He's like, but beyond that, okay, you beat my kin. Ooh, like, okay. But seriously, what have you done? You haven't you haven't won a rumble. You've won no big tournament match. Oh, you don't get no title shot, but just by bitching and complaining. And I thought that was kind of interesting that we had that little dig at bitching and complaining. Have that in the back of you all's head because I see the seeds that are being planted here. Loads of what we're going to be talking about later on. Well, one thing we'll talk about very, very shortly, but just keep that in the back of your head. Roman Reigns saying, nah, you don't get a title shot by bitching and complaining. Wonder who he's referencing there. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm being sarcastic here, but we'll circle back to that. Roman letting LA Knight know not gonna happen on his time. Tells him to get to the back of the line. LA Knight saying, look, he's definitely earned it, and talked about how it took 38 people to beat him, including Roman, and that when it comes to the Shield, something that Roman knows about very, very well. The Shield is all about the numbers because that's all Roman has had is a number of guys basically protecting Roman from him. And I love the little mockery that he did too of the Shield entrance from back in the day. Like, psh, Echo, psh. I love, you got to look that up on social media. Some hilarious shit that he did right there. As LA Knight called himself the uncrowned champion. This was a really good back and forth between the two of these men as LA Knight tells Roman that he sucks, he's not on LA's level, and that he's everything that Roman wished he could be, but can't be. And that when Roman can learn how to grow a pair, LA Knight will smack him back to factory settings. Roman looking pissed. This was good. This was really, really good. Shortly after that, Roman coming across his bloodline, which included Jacob Fatu. We kind of talked about this on the SummerSlam post show. Yo, just imagine what type of mood Roman Reigns is going to be in, considering the bloodline lost that tag match and all that. Yeah, Roman was pretty hot headed. He chewed into them a little bit. Wasn't too bad. I was expecting much worse, but he pretty much told them, what the hell? You guys are the bloodline. Like, you're supposed to go in there, you're supposed to take care of your business. And like, it doesn't work if we lose. And he further stirred the pot a little bit and told the Usos, yo, how you gonna lose to your little brother? As a matter of fact, where the hell is that dude? Like, that man should be here right now getting me coffee and all that. Solo, go get me coffee. It was a good little spot right there. And then he talked about Royce Keys and said to Jacob Fatu, this guy's talking about how he's your family, huh? He's your family. Like, well, we're your family. I'm your family. This is the only family that matters. The bloodline. Trust no one else. So a very interesting declaration here that came from Roman Reigns in regards to LA Knight. He proceeded to tell them that Knight is off limits and that he would personally take care of LA Knight. And with that, we thought we were done with Roman Reigns for the night. I love seeing LA Knight do a drive-by trash talk to them because he overheard what Roman had said and everything, and basically teased the fact that they can't touch him. Otherwise, they're going to make daddy upset. Love that LA Knight. Seriously. Now, look, if you've been a LA Knight fan for as long as I have, you may look at what's happening with LA Knight right now, and it's great to be excited for the guy, the whole 9 yards. It's great to be excited for him. But you may honestly be looking at this eventual matchup between these two and go, man, I would love this dude to be a champion, but unfortunately, it ain't going to come at the hands of Roman Reigns. It's just not happening. It'd be nice though, but yeah, it ain't happening. To that, I say, yo, no lies detected. But, can we just kick back and enjoy the ride? Can we just do that for what it's worth? I gotta say, I enjoyed the hell out of the segment between Roman and Knight. This honestly kind of felt like a long time coming. And when you just really take a step back and to a certain degree appreciate the full circle, long-winded storytelling that WWE has done here of LA Knight circling around Roman Reigns. And like somehow, and we've even talked about it here on the show a few times over the months, and like, wow, so Roman Reigns, like, LA Knight's doing all this trash talking, and Roman's not doing anything to kind of, what the hell's going on here, right? And so when you really play it all back in your head and to now get to the point where we're at now, it's like, wow, that's some really good long-term storytelling that you got going on here. And just what we got tonight with these two guys in the ring, I mean, you kind of felt a little bit of electricity, right? At least I did. I felt it, the synergy and all that. It's definitely there between those two guys, right? And one little thing that I also had appreciated too, I love when Knight was cracking a little joke about the shield and all that. Yeah, it was corny, but sometimes, a really good corny zinger it'll just tickle you at that right little. And obviously, he struck a funny bone with Roman because Roman briefly cracked character there and had to regain himself quickly. Loved it, loved it. Good shit right there. So can't wait to see more of what's to come with these two guys. I'm down for it. I want to see more from these two because I think things are just really getting started with these segments and all that between them. So, also speaking about segments, shortly after all of this, Royce Keys crossing paths with Jacob Fatu. Once again, we've got Royce Keys talking about this whole, so it's like that, it's like that. Thought we were family and all this other crap. Jacob pretty much telling him, "You're not my family. You're just like all these other fools out here. And you know what? I'm going to shut you up once and for all. You and me are going to have a street fight." So we actually had that. That is what actually closed out tonight's Monday Night Raw. I know a little bit uncharacteristic, right? Look, can we just let's cut through the bullshit. They are really trying with Royce Keys, are they not? I mean legit, and I'm not knocking that or anything. I'm not gonna take a massive shit on that because there's nothing for me to be taking a shit on. Like they are legit trying to get this guy over, but I don't know. I don't know. I look at what was done tonight and I go, well, that's a nice little positive step. I guess if you want to try to demonstrate that uh Royce Keys is one strong, tough son of a bitch, and you got to do a whole lot to get that big man down. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're gonna have him suffer at the hands of a Tonga grip and he eventually passes the fuck out, but he never taps out, right? Oh, okay. Well, I guess if that's the picture that you want to paint and everything for Royce Keys, okay, that's cool and everything. But I just kind of feel like Royce Keys is just kind of floating for what it's worth. Like he's just floating there. And don't get me wrong, yeah, he's got that association with LA Knight and Solo Sokoa. And I think right now, if you're WWE, they definitely need to make sure that they're continuing to lean heavily on that. Royce at this point needs to continue to get that rub off from all of those other people. You can't just rely on someone like a Jacob Fatu to do it alone with Royce Keys. That's not no. I just kind of feel like tonight Royce Keys was just really out there with his ass hanging out. Really. And I like Royce Keys. I like him. He's got a great look. I see a lot of promise in him, but he's gotta get the right kind of rub off. And I was really under the impression with Solo and Knight, like you want to keep sticking to that as much as humanly possible. You gotta continue to stick to that. And for the love of me, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a good street fight. I'm not crapping on the street fight by any stretch. So I don't want people to get the impression I'm crapping on this street fight. I thought it was a great back and forth brawl between these two guys. I'm trying to look at the last couple of minutes that I had wrote down in my notes here for this matchup because there was some other stuff that stood out to me in this. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with just watching two guys beat the holy living shit out of each other, and that's exactly what these guys did. They definitely brought the violence and all that. If you weren't a fan of, like, you could make an argument. Let me put it to you this way, as far as like how good this match was between these two men. This match was so good, you could almost make an argument that it was as brutally violent as the Brock Lesnar Oba Femi Hell in a Cell match from the weekend. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, I'm still a big fan of, like, okay, when I see a steel cage that's being introduced for some fight, for some rivalry, I expect for that cage to be utilized in some capacity in dishing out the brutality. And like it's all about utilizing the environment, right? And we didn't see that. Like Oba, Brock, they never interacted with the steel cage in that kind of capacity and all that, right? So when I look at what Fatu and Keys did right here tonight in this matchup, uh, I'm not in my head going, as far as the violence level and all that, they did good here. They did good here. Um, I don't know what's more insane. The fact that they had Fatu and Keys close this out and just be like, yo, we're gonna rely on you two guys, send us home. I don't know what's more crazier. That or like Royce Keys closing out a show. I don't really I don't know what is more crazier. I really don't. Because we know what Jacob Fatu is capable of. And so the fact that Royce Keys was put in this position tonight, that should definitely signify to you guys that the powers that be in WWE, no matter how you may personally feel about Royce, like they're still thinking pretty highly of this guy. And if you're a fan of Royce Keys, you want to keep seeing him get those opportunities. I know me personally, I want to see the big man continue to get those opportunities. He's not squandering them. He's definitely not. But like we got to be very very careful here, right? Because this was a hell of a. Luckily, he had a really good dance partner with Jacob Fatu, but you can't keep having him go out there and just continue to be a lone wolf. He is better when he is part of a, you know, whether it's a duo, a trio, like whatever. He's better from those standpoints, right? So you got to make sure that when you do get ready to pull the trigger and you have him be involved in some type of a match like this, you got to make sure leading up to that match, he's getting some type of a rub off. Now, I'll tell you how maybe this could have been handled a little differently going into this matchup. I would have loved it if when Royce Keys was talking to Jacob Fatu, I would have loved it if Roman Reigns just would have been standing there the entire time as Royce is talking to Jacob, and then like he turns around and Royce decides he's gonna fucking exit or whatever. I would have loved it if Roman would have been standing right there and you just sell that moment, Royce Keys, Roman Reigns, and Roman's like, you got something you want to say, kid? And Royce just smacks his teeth, walks past him, maybe gives him a little shoulder bump or whatever, and maybe Roman then says to Jacob, you're gonna be able to handle that tonight, right? Right. I would have loved it had they kind of done that kind of a little, right? That's what I mean by kind of paying it forward a little bit, kind of giving a little bit of a rub off, all that other good stuff, right? But damn good closer for WWE Raw tonight. I'll definitely say that. Definitely a good match. Going from there, let's talk about Ethan Page and Javon Evans. Now, remember, I said to you guys, I was right here last week, and we were talking about how Ethan Page had picked up a W on Rey Mysterio. And remember what I was saying to you guys? I said, yo, that's like really cool. You give it Ethan Page a win against the WWE Hall of Famer there and Rey Mysterio. But remember my concerns that I have for that? Remember that? I said to you guys, all right, that's cool, but are we going to build from that? Because if we're not going to build from that, then what's the whole point of having Paige defeat Ray like that? And then I flipped it and looked at Ray and I said, look, this is like a novelty act here. Like, you got to roll out the red carpet. This is Rey motherfucking Mysterio. So we got to make sure that, like, we sparingly are using Ray on these shows. Like, it's got to make sense why this guy is wrestling. Let's not do some random bullshit with this guy. And it's just, oh, well, we need to fill a quota for a match this week. We're just going to have Ray go out there and do a little something. And to my point, And to my point, hopefully you guys had your TVs on all the way through when Raw went off the air, because we saw Rey Mysterio chatting it up with Roman Reigns. Remember that? Yeah. So shortly after Jacob Fatu made Royce Keys pass the fuck out, Jacob Fatu wasn't done just yet, as a whole bunch of WWE officials came on in there. They were trying to pull Fatu off. Adam Pearce had to go in there, calm the big man down. Seemed as though that prevailed. Fatu wasn't done yet. I mean, steel chair over the neck, whole 9 yards. I mean, he really did a number on our man Royce Keys. So damn good. Made the man bust up blood from out of his mouth. I mean, visually, it was like, whoa, yeah. I love hearing. I guess it was maybe the referee or somebody at ringside. You could hear them clear as day. Are you okay? And you hear Royce say, "Yeah." I'm like, ah, fuck. Like, whose mic was on? And you're right, somebody had a hot mic on. Like, come on, man. But no, at the end of that whole brutal beatdown, like Fatu didn't just beat Royce Keys. I mean, he massacred. I mean, he butchered that poor man. Roman Reigns comes out nodding in approval at what he's seeing and all that, throwing up the one. Fatu throwing up the one right back at him. Roman goes backstage and boom, who's there waiting for him? No, it's not LA Knight. No, it's not Oba Femi. It's Rey Mysterio. As Rey Mysterio says to Roman, "Hey, you know I'm the general manager of AAA." And Roman goes, "I do now." To that, Rey says, "Let me talk to you about something." And that is our cliffhanger. We're going, what the hell is this about? It makes me say even more now that look at what happened last week, Ethan Page versus Ray Ray. And it's like, wait a minute here. So we did this match with Ethan Page and Javon Evans. You have Javon Evans beat Ethan Page tonight on Raw, but Ethan Page beat Rey Mysterio last week. And again, what I said to you on last Monday's show, where are we going with this? Like, this win against Ray Ray don't mean shit if we're not gonna build upon it. It's got to mean something, because you just beat a Hall of Famer, whether it's hook or by crook. Ethan Page just beat a WWE Hall of Famer, a multi-time world heavyweight champion, a multi-time, like, take your pick. Like, he's definitely a Grand Slam champion in his own right. And you got to build on top of that. And although the match between Paige and Javon was really, really good tonight, really good, I don't think Javon should have won the match. I mean, he essentially won the match cleanly against Ethan Page. I don't think that should have happened, especially considering what had happened last week. Now, we can flip that and we could be like, okay, well, damn, if we're gonna have Ray come out there and be like, yo, I'm the general manager of AAA. Man, I couldn't be a wrestler. For this segment, I couldn't be a wrestler. I'd be like, oh yeah, oh, that's you. Oh, okay. So what was that guy I saw last week that got his ass whooped by Ethan Page? Was that you too? Right. Like, immediately, that's what I was thinking about immediately when Ray was back there talking with Roman. I'm like, come on. So WWE, like, if you're gonna have Ray out there doing this, you gotta feed him some wins. You gotta feed him some wins, especially if you're gonna have the man come out the very next week. You know, hey, I'm the general manager of AAA, right? Like, no, please, WWE, come on, use some common sense here, man. Like, seriously. Um, so that's definitely got me going. Wonder what this is about. So look, we know we got TripleMania 34. That is going to be coming up night 1, September 11th, and then night 2, September 13th. Night 1's going to be in Paradise, Nevada, and night 2 is going to be in Mexico City, right? So I'm looking at that. And for you guys, that's like, well, what about Worlds Collide, Lee? What about Worlds Collide? Well, Worlds Collide, we know that's going to be coming up on September 26th. But I'm more interested in TripleMania 34. Now, we heard Roman Reigns talk about bitching and complaining. Remember that? And then there's that little interview. Well, not interview, but more like I guess it was a segment that involved Damian Priest. Boy, this is like a big ass ball of yarn that we just gotta unravel here because it's going in so many directions here. For those of you that need a refresher, Damian Priest had recently commented. We're gonna tie it all up together. You ready? You ready? Your mind's about to just go. Poof. Get ready. Damian Priest had recently commented that he's tired of seeing the same people in the top spots, and fans have felt similarly, similarly that wanting guys like Oba Femi, Trick Williams, Camarlo Hayes, Braun Breaker, and others to be pushed into the main event spots that have been occupied for years by Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. Okay. Now, you hear that, right? And obviously, Triple H had some things to say about that. I don't want to go too far in the deep end because I don't want to lose you guys, right? But we got what Damian Priest had said. And now we see what Roman Reigns had said. Again, him basically saying, you don't get a title shot by bitching and complaining. Sounds like an indirect, direct shot to me at Damian Priest, right? Why am I going on and on about Damian Priest? What's going on here? How does this tie into TripleMania? Well, for those of you that haven't been paying attention to the TripleMania product as of late, we know Damian Priest is now doing work in AAA, and he wants all the gold that's fucking down there. He wants all the smoke. So what if Rey Mysterio is maybe trying to see if Roman Reigns would be willing to fight Damian Priest at TripleMania 34 non-title matchup, maybe. Maybe that's what's going on. Or maybe Roman Reigns puts that championship on the line. That could also happen. That could very well happen. But what if in storyline Ray's trying to get Damian Priest and Roman Reigns to fight one-on-one? Because if not Damian Priest, then who else would you have slide in there? I ask you. And this is a special shout out to those that have like been faithfully watching the AAA promotion. And if there's like some other names that we should consider that like, yo, no, seriously, like no bullshit. It's probably going to be this guy. Like Lee, it's probably going to be Damian Priest. But I think a good honorable mention would be this guy. You definitely can go ahead and slide that name in there, right? But it's definitely safe to assume that the list is going to be very, very short, right? So more on that later. But I love that nice little cliffhanger that they did for Raw this week. I need more cliffhangers like that from WWE. That was a damn good cliffhanger. Whoa, Rey Mysterio is talking to Roman here. Oh, what's this about? Okay, so we know it's about AAA. What's Ray trying to pitch to Roman? What's going on here? And so obviously we need to get a follow-up to that. We don't need the whole load being blown in the first 30 minutes on Raw next week, revealing that. But we ended like this. WWE, you writers, listen up. You ended it like that. Okay. The very next time you open up your show, and I'm actually looking at did I write it down? Hang on here. because there's a Roman Reigns new dates that was just revealed. So give me a second here. Let me look at Roman Reigns dates. Because Roman Reigns got some new dates. Oh fuck. I don't think I wrote it down. Hang on. I'm still looking. So they recently revealed the dates for Roman Reigns going right on up until he gets ready to start doing that media blitz tour for that Street Fighter movie. And yeah, hang on a second. Let me just type in Roman Reigns tour dates 2026. I should be able to find it. Yep, I got it. All right, so here's your updated list here. Okay, so we saw Roman Reigns tonight. Next time we'll see Roman, it will be August 17th. And it looks like that is going to be in, hang on here, Buffalo, New York. Hang on here. Am I reading that right? Yeah, that looks like Buffalo, New York. And then August 28th, SmackDown and Raw double taping, Cleveland, Ohio. And then September 14th, Mexico City, Mexico. Trying to see if there's any other dates that's been announced or if that's it. Hang on. Yeah, there's a couple of more. There's a couple of more dates. One more date actually. Monday, October 5th, St. Louis, Missouri. Oh, and then Saturday, October 10th, New Orleans for Money in the Bank, right? So when you're looking at that and you kind of match that up, we know that Worlds Collide is going to be on September 26th. And then we know Triple Mania is going to be on September 11th and the 13th. Again, September 11th and the 13th. I don't know about you, but I think I'm on to something when it comes to Worlds Collide. I really, really do. I really, really do, because that Monday, September 14th, Raw is going to be in Mexico City. So I really, really believe I'm on to something. So y'all need to be thinking like that right now. Get the gears in motion and all that, right? Good. If they're able to get Roman to go do that over there for Triple Mania 34, fucking A. Like whatever you can do to help put more eyeballs on the product, I say go ahead and do that bad boy. Hang on here. I don't have the stream open. Just want to make sure. There we go. Now I got the stream open. Yeah. So if that's what they plan on doing, I definitely welcome it. I mean, it's great cross brand promoting and all of that. So um, I've been poking my head in there off and on, checking out the AAA promotion, and my instincts are right, and I think they are. I definitely, and I would encourage you guys, if you haven't done so already, start catching up on the promotion leading up to whenever Roman pops up to do his thing and all that. Now, we were talking about Roman, we were talking about Javon Evans and the match there with Ethan Page. Great little match too, by the way, between Ethan Page and Javon Evans. But that match quickly got overshadowed as Big Cass made his return. He just destroyed the living hell out of Javon. Nice big boot to the face, laid his ass out. Ethan Page wanted no part of Big Cass. He pretty much quietly just was strolling through the park one day. I mean, he just only thing missing was him just twirling a little umbrella or whatever. He's just casually, just very gingerly walking on out the ring. I kind of love that. Seriously, I kind of popped hard in laughter just seeing that. Big Bill laying Javon Evans to waist, hitting him with what's the name of this finisher here? Want to make sure I get this name right. It's a cool ass name. It's just one of those things. I got to hear it a couple of more times, and in order for it to like really, really stick. Where is that damn thing here? East River Crossing. That's what he called it. East River Crossing. Had a interview segment later on with Jackie Redmond, where he just grabbed the microphone away from her. By the way, it's the little things that I love. The little things. Kudos to whoever booked the backstage segment with Jackie Redmond. Seriously, because we had Jackie Redmond who was backstage and she was ready to do this interview with Big Cass. And I love the fact that the way whoever was in charge of like setting this shot up, I love the fact that they had Jackie Redmond introduce Big Cass. And then Cass walks into the screen, and then the camera has to automatically pan up so that you can see the face of Big Cass. And then it had to zoom out and then tilt down a little bit so that you could also capture Jackie Redmond, who is like damn near breaking her damn neck looking high up, you know. She's got high hopes. She's got, it's one of those type of deals. I was loving that. If I had any little bone of like, we could have done this maybe a little bit better. I wish we could have had Jackie Redmond kind of sell not really the fear of God, but like you're looking at somebody that is that tall, right? Somebody that massive. Yeah, you might be introducing them, but you kind of want to like you're smiling at first, right? Right. I apologize to my audio only listeners that's not going to be able to see me, but like if you want, just go to on the stream, just go to the 47-minute mark, right? But it's like Jackie Redmond smiling, and like when Big Cass just finally walks up to her, that smile just needs a huh. Oh shit! What have I got myself into? It kind of needs to go like that. That's the only thing I wish that could have happened there and all that. But Big Cass grabbing the mic, and he pretty much says 8 years. I was left dead in the dirt. 8 years it took me to get back here from rock bottom. No lies detected there. You know about all the trials, the tribulations. This guy was in a really dark place. Our younger listeners may not even know about Big Cass, may not even remember or even saw his first rodeo with the WWE. But we talked about it briefly here about 2 weeks ago. This guy had a very, very promising singles career ahead of him. I mean, it looked real promising. He was involved in some really good matchups too. I mean, he was getting the rub off from quite a few good people that first rodeo. I remember Daniel Bryan, aka Brian Danielson. I remember Samoa Joe. Definitely getting some good rub offs in there, and you had that unfortunate incident where Vince McMahon gave him a directive. It involved some segment. And I'll never forget it. It was a segment that had involved a midget. No jokes. Wish I was pulling y'all's chain, but there was a SmackDown segment that involved a midget. And Big Cass had decided that he pretty much knew better than what Vince McMahon was trying to throw out there and basically tell him to do. He decided he was going to call his own shots. And that poor wrestler greatly injured by Big Cass. It could have become much worse. And that was enough for Vince McMahon to go, yeah, you done, my nigga. That literally was it for Big Cass. And at that point, he was already spiraling out of control in his personal life because the alcoholism, like it was already there. But if anything, it just got even worse after his release from the WWE. And yeah, he was definitely in a really, really dark place. You go back and look at some of the pictures of him that was floating around for a hot little bit after his release. You're like, what is wrong with this dude? Like, what's going on with him? I mean, he didn't have any muscle mass whatsoever. He just looked like he stopped giving up on himself physically and mentally. Like, go back. Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures like a couple of months after he was released by WWE. You'll see what I'm talking about. And those of you that's been on top of your wrestling, we did watch him in TNA for a little bit. Uh, nice little feud there with Eddie Edwards. Was partnered up with Moose for a little bit. Eventually broke out into a feud with him. Did a little something there with Jordan Grace. So he had some nice little moments there in TNA. Ultimately went to AEW. Remember, he was one of the people that was hired by MJF, if I'm not mistaken. Was it for Wardlow? Am I remembering it right? It was for Wardlow. Then he went on and did the firm, and then he was part of the learning tree with Chris Jericho in them. So some really good moments that he had there in AEW for what it was worth. But just kind of give you guys a little bit of backdrop and all that, right? So no lies detected in this promo that he had tonight on Raw. He wrapped up his thoughts by giving a shout out to Javon Evans, basically saying, "Nothing personal, bro. You were just in the way. Make no mistake about it. I am here to stack bodies. You were just the first. You surely won't be the last." So he pretty much has put the roster on notice. I can't help but go, all right, well, if you're Javon Evans, what does this mean for you? Like, you gonna take this ass whooping by the big man laying down? Hell no, probably not. You probably got a receipt coming for the big man. So, Big Cass can wreak all the havoc he wants, but from what we've seen of Javon Evans, he's no pushover. He's got that dog in him. He's got that fighting spirit in him, and it doesn't matter how tall you are, how wide you are, right? How big and all that shit you are. You want to pick a fight with him, he gonna bring you the ruckus. So Big Kaz, hope he's ready for it, right? But a nice way to have the big man make his return. And I just gotta say, in the day and age right now where WWE, like, they don't have that big show, they don't have that Kane, right? They don't have that. For what he was worth, I actually enjoyed the work of Doc Gallows, even Carl Anderson, but like we're talking about big men right now, right? Doc Gallows, like they don't have that big guy right now. Sure, you got your nice muscular, you got a couple of those that's running around, but like you don't have a giant per se, right? So it's good that WWE was able to sign this guy and everything. And for those of you that you're like, well, what about Braun Strowman? To that, I say, yeah, well, look, Braun's busy touring and eating his ass off. Braun, give me a call, man. Seriously, I got so much love when it comes to my foodie reviews. I literally, like, the other day I was in the soup channel, and shout out to you guys over there. And folks were like, Lee, keep the foodie reviews coming. Like, I ain't forget. I'm coming with the foodie reviews. Trust me. Like, I'm sitting on a bunch of videos. I just got to sit down and upload. It's like, but I got a ton of more foodie reviews that's coming. No bullshit though. The Braun, give me a call, man. Seriously, give me. I know you already came out to DC last season, but like, seriously, give me a call, man. We can go like eat somewhere, shoot the shit. Like, I'm down with that, man. Like, seriously, I'm totally down. But no, like, what's been so like challenging as of late for me, like, no bullshit, is, I'm trying to transition into working in journalism. And so, I was telling the family about this. Because I wanted to have them understand where I'm coming from and all that. And I said, look, if I'm trying to have this career in journalism, I really got to be on top of my health now more than ever. Because, Lord knows I might be running to something, or I might need to run away from something. Like, so I need to make sure my cardio's on point and all that. And so I had got with a new physician. I still have my old primary physician helping me do a great job managing my diabetes and everything. But I got this new physician that's with the company RAW. And this is not a cheap, shameless plug. I'm not about to say use my promo code Lee Sanders. Like, first of all, I wish that'd be some nice little extra money coming in my pocket. But no, no, no. I hooked up with the RAW company because I love what I was seeing with Charles Barkley this past season on Inside the NBA on ESPN. And I'm like, wow, like as long as I've watched Charles Barkley, I'm like, I've never seen this dude this skinny. So, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's he doing? Can I tap into this? What the hell? And when Charles was talking about how he basically did row, I'm like, I need to see what's going on with that. So I did my research and all that. I ran it past the family, and they were like, okay, just make sure it's not going to interfere with your other medications because we don't need any complications with you, man. Like, we don't need something sideways to happen with you. I'm like, yeah, yeah, true that. And so did the cross referencing and all of that. So for the past week and a half almost now, I've been on Wegovy through Row. I've been on the pill medication Wegovy, and it is great at putting a curb stomp to the appetite. Like, I got to take it first thing in the morning before I take any other medications, right? I got to take it first thing in the morning, wait 30 minutes, then I gotta take, whatever medication I'm supposed to take for my diabetes and all that. And then from there, um, you know, no bullshit. I have to force myself to eat because as soon as I take that Wegovy pill, like I don't want to eat. And literally, I've had the family, would you fucking eat something already? Because have you eaten today? Right? They literally are hitting me with the Panda Express commercial. Have you eaten yet? And it's like, no, fucking eat something already. So right now I've lost in the past week, I've lost 7 pounds. 7 pounds. If you ask me if I have a goal by the end of August, my goal, I'm hoping I can get down to so I started at 251 and now I'm down to 243. So I'm hoping that by the end of August, if I can get down to like 230, I'd be like, hey, we're going in the right direction. So I bring all that up to say that, like, I'm gonna try to do the foodie reviews, but like I gotta be kind of mindful now because I can't quite do the foodie reviews like I used to. I really kind of gotta be I gotta be sparingly with the foodie reviews these days, but there's plenty of content coming your way that I saved up on. How did we get on the topic of foodie reviews and all that? We were talking about Braun Strowman. I miss Braun Strowman, but yeah, Braun Strowman, I mean, he's busy, he's banged up, right? So let him go eat his food. We got Big Kaz, big young 39-year-old Kaz. I'll take that. I know some of you guys are disappointed that no Enzo Amore. Man, honestly, I remember what was happening with these two guys when they were separated the first rodeo, and they both did extremely well as solo acts. So I actually welcome them just as solo acts. I hope Enzo's coming. I sincerely hope Enzo Amore is coming to the WWE. See from there, so Ruka was in one-on-one action against Roxanne Perez. Was a little bit distracted during this matchup. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Um, I was actually on an important phone call, so I didn't get to see the conclusion of who won this matchup, but I did see afterwards. Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, they called themselves ganging up there on Sol Ruka, numbers game, like much too much. Next thing you know, we hear the entrance music for the man, Becky Lynch. She comes on out there, and Raquel and them, they aren't really sure what to make of Becky Lynch. So Becky grabs a microphone. They allow her to grab a microphone, and Becky pretty much says, hey, calm down, because I've already gotten a taste of your championship. And she's talking to Raquel Rodriguez, who we know is the new women's intercontinental champion. And she goes, no, I've yet to taste that championship right there. It's about time for me to taste that championship right there. Of course, she's talking about Liv, and throws shade at Liv for the fact that Liv has like only defended that championship once in like 100 and something plus days, and that she is the worst women's champion of all time. And it's not just her saying it; it's a lot of people that's saying it. And Liv Morgan comes right back, saying that basically, unlike Becky Lynch, right? Truly, truly, Liv Morgan is the best champion ever, right? By the way, Liv Morgan, the trailer for the new movie that she's not, I won't say starring in, but that she's part of, was released. I'm trying to see what the name of that is. I wish I could show you guys movie trailers and all that, but we gotta be careful because this is how Bad Lieutenant, that's the name of the trailer. Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. Bad Lieutenant Tokyo. And it looks really good. No bullshit. That's not me just yum 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 yum. Give me some. Movie actually looks really good. So if you haven't seen the trailer yet, it's all on social media. Definitely on YouTube right now. So go ahead, have at it and everything. So trying to think what had happened after that. I'm trying to jump into my notes here. Yeah. So they jumped. Let's see what else. I remember Stephanie Vaquer made her return, but I'm just trying to figure out what had happened shortly after that. Oh yeah, there was some more zingers that Becky Lynch had in here. I'm looking at my notes here. Becky talked about how actually it was Liv. Liv had said yeah, this was fucking funny here, man. This was funny. Becky Lynch had said that Liv Morgan has been nothing more than a glorified valet with that championship around her shoulders. I mean, Becky was really coming in here with the burns on Liv Morgan. I was loving it. Liv suggests that Becky should stay at home and continue being a mommy to her daughter. Becky is in Liv's face because she's jealous of her, and that Becky's time is over and Liv's time is now. Uh, she hits her catchphrase again, tries to leave the ring. But it turns out, before she could even get that far, Becky Lynch with the parting shot, basically saying, you're not the only best women's champion that slept with Dominik Mysterio. I had to think about that one. I had to think about that. Like, you heard me right. I actually had to go back. Wait. And I rewinded that. I'm like, wait. And I wrote it down. I had to make sure I did not take that out of context. Becky actually said to Liv that Liv isn't even the best women's champion in her group or the best women's champion that slept with Dominik Mysterio. And so you're going, so I'm assuming we're talking about Rhea Ripley, yeah? I mean, and then somewhere I'm just picturing Buddy Matthews just eating his sandwich and like he just kind of puts it down. He's like, the fuck? Right. I mean, that would just be a great cutaway scene right about now. So Liv Morgan tries to keep on going. Her, Roxy, Raquel. We get the pyro music. We hear the entrance for Stephanie Vaquer. She makes her return. She's back. She's back in black. Ow! Liv tries running away. Stephanie manages to catch her, gets a couple of quick jabs in there on Raquel and Roxanne to pretty much negate them. There pretty much was a 2-on-1 beatdown there, ultimately on Liv Morgan. As Liv got into the ring, Stephanie was able to get her hands on her and all that. As Raquel, Roxanne, they get punched down. Liv gets put down, ends up leaving the ring after she gets briefly whooped. Becky walks up to Stephanie as the two of them are having a stare down. And so now, you're going, okay, so they're both back. But man, I kind of feel a little bad for Soul Ruka, just a little bit here. I don't know if anybody else was kind of feeling bad for Soul, but like you're going, man, Soul just got, you know, I mean, there's three of those girls over there with Liv, Raquel, Roxanne, and like we've got Stephanie and Becky over here. So I is it safe to assume Soul is going to kind of be the peacemaker for a little bit? She's going to be the one that's going to try to have Becky and Stephanie put their differences to the side and join forces here against Liv, Raquel, and Roxanne Perez. Like, is that what we're? But I don't think it's going to be to any avail. I mean, obviously Stephanie and Becky, and I'm down with that. That was a matchup I wanted to see desperately before Stephanie even got injured. So really, the timing of Stephanie Vaquer back into the mix couldn't come at a better time, especially when the women's roster on the Raw side, the more depth that you have. Remember what we were talking about over the weekend? Who's your first string quarterback? Who's your second string? Who's your third? Like the more people that you have, and pretty much, okay, we're gonna put this person here. They're gonna get a nice little rub here, but like this is all ultimately gonna connect back over here. Like more people that you have back at play. Now we just need Naomi. I mean, once we get Naomi back into the mix, holy shit. I mean, we saw what she was doing too right before she got injured. I mean, she was stirring that pot up real good. Once we get her back into the mix, then we're really, really going to be popping and all that. Oba Femi. I love the outfit that Oba Femi was wearing tonight. I mean, it was giving me, Mortal Kombat vibes. It was giving me the whole. There's two videos. I would welcome you guys to check this out, especially if you're into all things rock. There's a music video that I love, love, love. It's one of two I'm going to mention to you guys. There's one with Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. It's called Most High. And it's from their Walking to Clarksdale album. Came out in the 90s, a very underrated fucking album. Very popular album. That whole album kicks ass from start to finish, right? Few little production quirks. Since the album was released, Robert Plant has revealed that he fought Jimmy Page on the production sound of the album, but Jimmy was just being so defiant and was like, no, this is the course that we're going to stay in all that. But Most High, if I were to describe Most High, and if you're familiar with the Led Zeppelin catalog, I would say to you guys, the song Most High by Robert Plant and Jimmy Page is like, if you're wondering what a sequel to Kashmir by Zeppelin would sound like, Most High is that song. Tell me if I'm lying. So, like, I'm looking at Oba Femi's outfit. I'm kind of picking up Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, Most High, right? I'm kind of getting that little vibe as I'm watching that. But then I'm also kind of picking up the Jimmy Page, Robert Plant unplugged set that they did. I think it was called Unleaded. When the Levee Breaks. They did a really nice live rendition of When the Levee Breaks. And like, I don't know, there's just something kind of Moroccan, kind of, Western Hemisphere, you know, I am walking with Shangri-La. I was loving the vibes I was getting from Oba Femi tonight, man. I'm like, great spirit, touch me. I feel you. Yes, testify. Right. I want to walk with Elias. No, I want to walk with Oba. That was a killer. I mean, that was some serious drip. You gotta look a certain way. Like nobody, let's be real. Not everybody can push that. What Oba Femi was wearing tonight. Seriously, not everybody can wear that. You gotta have a certain kind of look with that. I love that look that he was pushing. I don't know why, but Siri for all of a sudden is eavesdropping. Shut up. I don't know what's going on. For some reason, it was listening just now, and I didn't even say its name until now. So that was kind of weird. But Oba comes across, maybe because I said Femi and it sounded like, and that's why my phone came on. But right before Oba went out to the ring, he crossed paths with Paul Heyman. And he says to Paul Heyman, hey, if you could do me a favor and just give a message to Brock Lesnar. And Heyman's like, I'll do my best to do so. And he's like, well, just tell him thank you. And Heyman's like, yeah, I can definitely relay that message, sure, and Heyman extends his hand and he says to Oba, hey, congratulations. And Oba's like, thank you, shakes his hand right back, goes to the ring and everything. And you're like, wow, here's a rare moment here where Paul Heyman, wow, this is kind of uncharacteristic. What the hell? More on Paul Heyman in a little bit because that kind of came back to bite him in the ass. So Oba Femi comes out, great ovation to the crowd. Love that WWE has continued to lean into, and I had mentioned this several weeks ago, and I was like, WWE, keep that. That's great. And that was basically the split screen. Remember, I had said, hey, WWE is experimenting with this whole split screen when Oba comes out, showing the fans doing the dancing and all that, right? Walk like an Egyptian. Don't mind me. I'm just in that zone. So love that. Keep it coming, right? So we had that. Oba gets in the ring and nice little promo that he cut and everything. I was telling a friend about Oba Femi. I think it was last week. And I told him, I said, we got on the subject of wrestling. And I said, for Oba Femi, WWE pretty much has their Eldris Elba. I mean, doesn't he look like him? Like when you really stop in, really look at him. He looks like him. He's just muscular. It's true. It's true. But anyway, Oba Femi coming out there. Not really much he was saying here with his promo. Basically, he talked about how his destiny is clearer than ever, but sometimes when the path is the clearest, that he misses the path. Oba will forge his new way and lead a new generation and new crop of talent, and that the old gods will fall. So, wow, it was almost like he was dressed like a goddamn prophet. Wait a minute, it's now really starting to dawn on me, right? So says the book of Femi. Oh wow. I think they stumbled upon something here, WWE, without them fucking realizing it. Holy shit. I have seen fire and I have seen rain. Oba Femi will make you feel the pain. No, seriously. Interesting. Because I just jotted this and now it's just really hitting me about Oba Femi and all that. Yeah, he says that the old gods will fall. And if anyone has a problem, they will answer to him. It was a nice change of pace. I love seeing more of this personality come out. And I got to tell you, I just was paying attention to that robe the entire time. And I'm just like, man, this is so uncharacteristic. I've watched this guy since NXT. He's never dressed like that. Now I'm seeing him, if he's dressing like that and he's posting it on social media, I don't know nothing about it. Y'all gonna have to hit me in the community on that. No, 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 no about it. But I tell you what, seeing him in that drip and now like he coming out there kind of prophesizing. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. He's the white light. He's the white light, huh? Follow the white light. No. But what was really kind of shut up and take my money WWE moment was as Oba was walking up the top of the ramp, we hear the music of the Vision and Braun Breaker. Mean mugging. I mean, as soon as he comes from the back, eyes are locked on Oba Femi. Oba is not backing down. His eyes are locked on him the entire time. Oba's kind of looking at him like, and what? What you got to say? Better yet, what you going to do about it? Right? And man, I've never seen somebody so hard try to burn a hole through somebody's head. This was Braun Breaker to Oba. I'm looking at this going, yeah, shit, yeah. Take my money, WWE, because that is a matchup I want to see. Somehow, these two men, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'll know by the next show. I should look right now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna look right now. But to my knowledge, Oba and Oba Femi and Braun Breaker, I don't think they've ever fought each other. Hang on here. I think they missed each other. Yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Let me look here. Let me look here. Yeah, isn't that something? Hang on. Let me do something here. Match history. Wow. Wow. Yeah, yeah. That is insane. That is insane. These guys have never locked up. How is that even possible? Like legit, how is that even possible? Let me go back to I'm looking at the matches for Braun Breaker right now. Let me just go back. I would have thought for sure, but now that I'm playing the timeline back in my head, these guys never locked up in NXT. Okay, the last time Braun Breaker had anything to do with NXT, I'm seeing a date of this looks like April of 2024. NXT tag team title. Axiom and Nathan Frazier defeated the Wolf Dogs. Wow, I totally forgot about that. That was a tag team. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. I totally forgot about that tag team. I actually had enjoyed that tag team. Wow. And now that Baron Corbin is back, wonder how long before Baron and Braun potentially reconnect. Wow. So looking at this, that was the last time. And yeah. Okay, so see, that now has me curious because now I'm kind of going, so by how many months or like years did they miss each other by? Let's see. Oba Femi NXT debut. Let's do that now. So Oba Femi made his NXT debut at NXT Spring Breaking. That sound right to you guys? Looks like April of 2023. April of 2023. And Braun last did something with NXT in 2024. So somehow these two did not cross paths at NXT. It was literally a case of like almost coming and going. Isn't that interesting? You would have thought for sure they had locked up in NXT, but it didn't. So that makes me even more intrigued for this matchup. And if you are essentially telling me I could potentially be looking at something that could either happen at Money in the Bank or maybe I'm getting an early Royal Rumble 2027 preview, I fucking welcome it. But I love this stare down between these two men, a taste of things to come. Fucking badass. And I love the fact that as we went into a commercial break, Braun Breaker was just continuing to stare a fucking hole at Oba Femi. I mean, long after Oba Femi was gone. I mean, this was a motherfucking case where Oba Femi went backstage. Oba Femi went to go take a shower. Oba Femi went to go put on his street clothes. Oba Femi, got himself an Uber and I don't know, went to TGI Fridays. And meanwhile, Braun Breaker is just standing like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, looking out the window. But in this case, he's just looking, he's standing in the ring, looking up the ramp. I guess he's still imagining Braun is that Oba Femi is still there, right? And so we come back from a goddamn commercial break, and poor little Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry's kind of just, hey, what about me? What about me? We gonna do this match? Hey, me, Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. It's like, and Braun is just continuing to have the fucking shining stare, right? The most hilarious fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, you would have swore that Oba fucking jacked Braun's woman or something, right? And just boom, the bomb just got dropped on you, like, right? I love this. It was almost starting to become comical. Finally, Braun turned around, almost like, oh, it's a peasant, and just mauled the shit out of Joe Hendry. This was a glorified squash match. How glorified of a squash match this is, well, it was so bad. Apparently, some of you guys overseas, or maybe through your VPN, you were actually able to see Joe Hendry's entrance and all that. Well, for the rest of us that aren't pushing that, we didn't get to see Joe Hendry's entrance. So by the time we came back from a commercial break, all we basically see is Joe Hendry. Hey, Joe Hendry, I believe. Hello, we fight now. Yes. Joe Hendry getting destroyed. Hilarious. And he just continued to burn a hole looking for Oba Femi. Later on, Braun coming across Paul Heyman. And did you see the little Easter egg, by the way, of Adam Pearce conversing with Lyra Valkyria? Did you guys peep that out? Love those little Easter egg drops. Like, seriously, love that shit. Like, what's going on there? What are they talking about? Anyway, Braun says to Paul Heyman, did you see what happened? Because apparently Paul Heyman, he just decided that the best seat in the house for the night is this awkwardly flat screen TV that's kind of tilted and all of that. You got to do the infamous little Bret Hart looking at the Cytron image. You know the image I'm talking about. This was pretty much Paul Heyman almost throughout the night. Paul's like, yeah, I saw what happened. It's like, did you see what happened? He's like, yeah, I saw what happened. And Braun's like, well, you know what I'm gonna do about it. He's like, Heyman's going, yeah, do what you got to do, handle your business. And so Braun goes, so where is he? Heyman's like, where's who? He's like, where's Oba Femi? It's like, how would I know where Oba Femi is? And Braun's like, oh yeah, my mistake. I thought you two were friends. I thought you two were best friends. Because he saw that little exchange between the two of them from earlier. So, got Paul Heyman good there. That Braun Breaker got his ass real good. Good shit. Speaking of Paul Heyman, they did show a video package prior to all of this, Brock Lesnar, and they're kind of teasing the whole, hey, is that it? Like, I posed this question as early as SummerSlam. I think it was night one, the night one post show that we did. And I can't wait to hear all my friends in the podcasting world react to this idea. I know I was definitely, if not the first, one of the first few to put this idea out there, but I don't think we've seen the last of Brock Lesnar. For those of you that missed what I had to say, I don't think we've seen the last of Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar, we will see him headline the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2027, and he will wrestle one last time in Saudi Arabia, and that will pretty much be his big bon voyage. That's what I'm predicting. I don't see Undertaker doing the honors. I think that honor is going to come from Paul Heyman. I see Paul Heyman being the one to break the news to Brock Lesnar that he's going to be going into the WWE Hall of Fame class. So for those of you that's kind of like, yeah, what is going on with Brock? When's the next time we're possibly going to be seeing Brock, if at all, and all that? That's where I'm going. Look, if they're able to figure something out and get him to come back even sooner than that, but I just don't. I'm not getting that vibe. I'm not getting that vibe whatsoever. Okay, I think we have one more match to talk about because we did go at great length talking about the street fight there between Jacob, Fatu, and Royce Keys. The one other match, Chad Gable and Penta, they had teamed up to take on JD McDonagh and Dirty Dominik Mysterio. By the way, you notice a name that I have not mentioned on this show at all. I have not mentioned Danhausen. This was a Danhausen free episode. I really hope that this is basically a sign from WWE that, you know what, we hear some of our fans, we hear some of the chatter that's going on, with some podcasts, and hey, quality versus quantity. Okay, well, let's make sure, with these Danhausen segments, we're actually putting some serious thought into it, and we're focusing more on, putting some really good shit out there when it involves Danhausen. I'm glad that we did not get Danhausen out here tonight. Because I thought for sure he was somehow going to be involved in this match. I thought for sure he was going to make some type of a cameo, but that was not the case whatsoever. And I'm glad. And I'm glad. Dominik Mysterio taking the fall here. I kind of have the impression that JD might somehow unintentionally get inserted in the Intercontinental Championship picture. And so just kind of looking into the crystal ball a little bit, if it is going to end up being JD and Chad Gable doing something with one another, I think that's actually going to be a really damn good matchup. I personally wouldn't mind it because Chad Gable and Penta, they had picked up the win via pinfall and all that. So, but yeah, Dom taking the fall here. Yeah, I that's just the impression that I'm kind of getting here. I definitely would be fine with that. We definitely give him an opportunity to shine even more. As I had said to you guys the other night, for me, past 2 years in a row, somebody had made a comment about JD in the chat, and I was like, nah, man, JD. Yeah, there was a comment about so what's next? JD's gonna be released like Carlito. Like, no, there's way more stock in JD than there is with Carlito. And I love Carlito, but like, you can do what you need to do with Carlito if you really see. That's what's so crazy about Carlito. I remember when Carlito first came back to the WWE, he had an insane fucking look, size, and all that. I'm like, push that to the moon, push him to the moon. They didn't do that. They just kind of felt like, no, we're gonna stick him with Judgment Day. And not for nothing, but he had his moments in Judgment Day. He was able to carve out a little something and kind of naturally get himself over and all that, but just wasn't meant to be. It's unfortunate. But yeah, if JD and Chad, they end up kind of doing something there, I think that's definitely going to be a really good matchup for what it's worth. So that was WWE Raw in a nutshell. We already talked about the street fight. If you're just now tuning in, We already talked about the street fight at great length. We kind of mentioned that almost. Hang on here. We kind of mentioned that match almost at the beginning there. So nice little solid SummerSlam Fallout edition of WWE Raw, for what it's worth. Um, I gotta say though, the Roman Reigns working AAA. I don't think a lot of people even saw that coming, right? Roman Reigns AAA, like yeah. I mean, who the hell called that one? Like seriously, that is a welcome surprise. I gotta say that is a welcome surprise, and it also shows you the level of what's the right words I'm looking for? Combination of words I'm looking for. That shows you, I think, not just how much faith they have in AAA, not only how much promise, but like, and then let's not also forget, I don't know if it's happened yet because I haven't been on top of the news like that when it comes to the AAA promotion, but it's been a minute since I know they're trying to still figure out something as far as like a TV deal. I thought something was going on with Fox. I could be mistaken, but I promise you the next time that I come back on the air, I'll have more information in regards to that and whatnot. But it's good. I like everything that we got stringing together here. It's all coming along. Like I said, no polls this week for WWE Raw. We got more stuff that we can definitely get into here on the show with you guys. Once again, you guys picked a great night to tune in because we're going all over the place here on this show. I told you guys more about me later. I know I had told you guys about the weight loss treatment program that I'm on right now. So I'm pretty stoked for that. Um Mother-in-law is doing good. New update for you guys. Mother-in-law is doing okay. She ended up being transferred to a rehab facility, and she's been doing a lot of physical therapy there, trying to basically make that leg that she fell on, what was that, was it early July? Yeah, beginning of July. From what I understand, the leg is getting stronger and stronger. And I was asking the wifey about it. I said, so what are we thinking? Like, is she gonna be okay, on her own? And my wife was like, she needs a couple of more weeks. She's like, but I think by the time we get to the end of August, she's gonna be okay. I said, okay, all right, well, let's see what happens. So mother-in-law's doing good. I'm gearing up for a loaded fall semester of classes that's gonna be going down in a couple of weeks. So pretty excited for that. Matter of fact, I got to start. I literally secured earlier today my annual campus parking. The website was just, man, there was a lot of traffic. There was a lot of traffic. I almost was reminded of what it was like to hop on Ticketmaster back in the day when I was trying to get tickets for a WWE show. I mean, that's how bad it was. Well, it wasn't too bad. I had like a delay of about 3 minutes of the site loading up and all that. So I mean, it wasn't too bad. Let me give you guys a piece of advice. Jury duty. I'm actually going to be writing a piece about this, and hopefully I can get it published for one of my school campus papers. Let me say something about jury duty, and this isn't long-winded. At some point in your life, you are going to have to deal with jury duty. Now, there is a fortunate few that are like purple unicorns that never, ever, ever get called for jury duty. Pat yourselves on the back. Okay. But in your lifetime, 9 times out of 10, you will definitely get called for jury duty. Typically, the way it works, you registered to vote, you're gonna have to do jury duty. That's just pretty much how it is. There's no way you can get around it unless you're able to demonstrate some type of a hardship. Maybe you're in some type of a caregiver role or whatnot. So why am I bringing this up? I went through it the hard way with jury duty, and they are some sneaky bastards, or at least the people that I had spoke to in my area. So I got hit with my very first jury duty the first quarter of this year. There was no way I could do it because I was in the middle of midterms, final projects, final exams. So there was no way I could do it. So I decided, let me just postpone this. Let me push it back to June because I'll be free right around then. You know, wide open schedule besides work. And I work at night. So, this is a win-win. So they actually hit me up in June. And the date that they gave me, it's like, okay, cool. No problem. Mother-in-law had got her knee surgery earlier in the month of June. And then towards the end of the month to basically close out June, I think it was, that's when she had the fall on her leg. No. She had the fall during the first couple of days in July. But no, closing out June, I actually was the main one that was taking care of her. I was her primary caregiver. So anything that she needed, appointments, all that, I was hooking her up. Making her meals, all that stuff. And so I had decided, you know what, I can't do jury duty, family here, like this is more important. Like, woman needs my help. Pushed it back. Then we go into early July, as you guys know, that's when she unfortunately fell on that leg and had to go back, get surgery and all that other shit. These guys hit me with a new date in July. Couldn't do that date. So I called these people today, Monday. I called them up, explained to them what was going on. I was feeling really, really good too. I was fresh off of the phone. I had just secured my annual parking for campus. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm 1 for 1. Yeah. And I was able to find a sweet little parking spot because I had to swap cars. So I was able to find a sweet little spot in my housing development. It's all homes here, but we got like assigned parking and then we have visitor parking for those, that's guests and all that. So I was able to find a little bonus parking spot, like swap right there, swap cars. I was like, yeah, 2 for 2. Called the jury commissioner's office to let them know, what was going on with the mother-in-law and all that, said good morning to them, all that. I got the riot act. Boys and girls, this shit was so bad. I actually said to the guy word for word, I said, can I ask you a question? I said, what is with the attitude? What is with the accusatory tone? Like, hey, I work in customer service, some form of customer service, just like what you're doing here. And, I always try to treat people the way I want to be treated, and that's with respect. And I tell you what, I don't know what's going on with some of the people that I come across. As far as I know, I could be the first person that they're seeing for the entire day. I could be the last person that they're seeing for the day. But I say that to say, I want to make sure that they're left with a really good impression because they could be just one heartbeat away from doing some type of harm to themselves or just doing something stupid or whatever, right? Like, so I try to make sure I treat people, and I told them straight up, I said, you probably deal with a whole bunch of bullshit stories, people lying and cussing you out and all that, but you got to somehow figure out a way to tune all that shit out. And whatever happened with that call, that's with that call. You got to do a clean slate with the next person that you're talking to and all that. And I told him, I said, I could be a real asshole right now and ask to speak to your superior and really make your job difficult based on how you've been talking to me thus far. This is only a phone conversation. You ask me what's going on. I'm doing the right thing. I'm calling you. I'm asking, I'm telling you what's going on. And he was having a hard time understanding the fact of what was going on with my mother-in-law. And this is why I'm going on and on about this story. Here's what they don't tell you when it comes to jury duty. I want you to peep this because they don't tell you this. So you're hearing it here first, especially if you haven't done jury duty yet. So this guy kept saying, you missed jury duty 3 times. I'm going, what are you talking about 3 times? How did I miss 3 times? I'm like, you guys only sent me 2 letters. Like, what are you talking about 3 times? He's like, we sent you this one date. you postponed it. We sent you a new date. You didn't show up. We sent you a new date. We got you 3 times. I'm like, 3 times? What are you talking about 3 times? Like, what are you talking about? And after I got off the phone with him, I had to really sit down and think about that. Now, here's what they don't tell you. You're given a one time. Here's what they don't tell you, and that it still counts. You're given a one-time courtesy to postpone jury duty. No matter where you are in the United States, you get a one-time courtesy for whatever reason. You get to postpone your jury duty, right? They like to call it, you're excused, but they'll hit you up with a due date, right? Here's the thing. Here's what they don't tell you. Even though you push that postponement / excused, they count that as one. That's what they don't tell you. That's what they don't tell you. So even though it's excused, well, you think it's excused? No, that still counts. So when I stopped and thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute. They first hit me in early 2026, first quarter of 2026. I'm like, he's got to be talking about that one because, like, I don't understand what the fuck this dude's talking about. Okay, that's got to be it. Okay, then there was the second one for June, and then the third in July. Okay, so yeah, that is 3. Okay, like, okay. Now, it's not the end of the world. Shit happens with everybody's schedule. Shit happens. Here's the thing. Please don't let it end up being a situation like mine. Don't let it go that far. Just get the shit out the way if you can. If you don't have a situation like mine, what was going on with my family, just get the shit out the way and so you can just be over and done with. If you're not in that position, if it goes further, here's what ultimately is going to happen. You're going to get a 4th summons. You have to do the summons. There's no look, the only way you're going to be able to get out of that summons, you better be dead. I'm not joking. Like, you better be dead. That's the only way you're going to get out of that. Because if you don't do that 4th summons, that's like their last attempt at giving you a lifeline. If you don't do that 4th summons, you then are going to be held in contempt, and then you'll have to appear before a judge and explain to the judge why you didn't do jury duty. Don't go there. Please don't go there. If you're not able to do it the first time that they give you a heads up, you got to do jury duty, and you're like, I got to get a postponement. Make sure you just get it out the way on that second time. And remember, that first time that you push it back, that counts as 1. That sadly counts as 1. So the shit adds up real quick. So hopefully that information helps. I'm going to be talking with a professor or two when the semester starts and to let them know about this experience. And I'm pretty sure someone will be like, yeah, go ahead, write a story on that. I think they would be very, very interested to hear more about that and all that. All right, so a couple of little news tidbits that we can dive into before we get ready to wrap it up. We're already at the 1 hour, 43-minute mark, too. Not really too much news related items that kind of caught my eye since last I was on the air with you. Speedy recovery we'll blaze through it real quick. I promise you guys. If we can keep it like right at almost 2 hours, I'm okay with that. I just want to give you guys a nice little well-rounded show since we dedicated a big chunk talking about Monday Night Raw. Speedy recovery to Brie Bella. Brie Bella had revealed that she broke her scapula. As we all had saw that we're watching SummerSlam weekend, that spot there with JC Jane, and it was just a freak accident when it was all said and done. We all know as wrestling fans in our heart of hearts, there was nothing malicious, truly just a freak accident. That's what it was. And so Brie Bella confirmed that, yeah, she is going to be out for a little bit. And, it's very unfortunate. Really, really. I know the Bellas, they were trying to make 2026 going into 2027. Basically, this is it. We're done after this. And my heart, I do feel really bad for them. I know I've given the Bellas shit over the years, but that is literally Thems are some tough breaks, like seriously. So speedy recovery to her. Also, I am seeing a report for you TNA wrestling fans or you fans of independent wrestling or women's wrestling and all that. Jodie Threat. And I literally was watching her on TNA last week. I'm trying to think of the girl that she had faced. It'll come to me in a hot second. But it was one of the handful of times that I've seen Jodie Threat in action on TNA. And every time I see her, I like her. She's got an awesome presence. She's got a great look, great size. Kind of reminds me just a little bit of ODB, a little bit there. For your women's wrestlers and all that. Shout out to Mike Johnson, the PW Insider. He reported that Jodie Threat done with the company. The site noted that she requested her release and the promotion granted her request. Now, here's what makes this really, really weird. She had just inked a new deal with TNA earlier this year. She first came to the promotion in 2023. And earlier this year, there was the announcement that was made that she signed a new deal. So crazy. But yeah, she was on TNA Impact last week. It was for the Knockouts television title tournament. I'm trying to think what was the name of the girl that she faced. She didn't beat her. That I think Jada Stone. I think that's who it was. Jada Stone. That she lost to and everything. So look, she's in her late 30s. She's been wrestling for a good minute. I don't know what's gonna happen with her in the near future. But I hope we get to see more of her because she's awesome. She is fucking awesome. Definitely poorly underutilized. I got to be honest with you guys, poorly underutilized. And also, while we're talking about releases, Mila Grace, she requested her release from TNA and it was granted. The promotion is currently doing a storyline where they're also teasing the contract of current knockout Harley Hudson. I don't know if you guys had peeped that out, but Santino Morella and Daria Ray, they were chatting backstage, and Daria said to Santino, hey, speaking about trimming the fat, and Santino's like, hey, I'm trying. Look, don't you see? I lost a few pounds. Hey. And Daria's like, no, I'm not talking about that. She's like, quit being silly. She's like, no, looking at our roster and, we got some people that's on our roster that definitely at this point, they need to be out of here already. And Santino's like, what are you talking about? Well, for instance, Santino, I'm talking about Harley Hudson. And he's like, no, Harley's cool. Like, why are you picking on her? I love Harley. And Daria's like, yeah, but she hasn't won a match in how long? So kind of looks like it's a situation where if poor Harley doesn't get her shit together, she essentially is gonna be shown the fucking door, which absolutely fucking sucks. Shout out to my people that's watching the stream via YouTube. Man, I'm seeing some weird buffering that you guys are experiencing right now. If you are experiencing a little bit of buffering, just try refreshing your stream. You should be okay. I just refreshed my browser and I'm actually good to go. So, my people on YouTube, if you're noticing anything weird of that magnitude, just refresh your browser. You should be okay. Also, from there, I want to give thoughts, condolences, prayers to the family of this UFC fighter. Did you hear about that news? There's a UFC fighter that passed away at the age of 34. UFC had put out a press release about it. The dude passed away early Monday morning. Uh, basically, was found deceased. Apparently, he died in his sleep. But dude passed away at the age of 34. UFC fighter Allen. Uh, I apologize if I butcher the hell out of this last name. Uh, Nascimento. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Apparently, it was an apparent heart attack. Despite the efforts of the responding medical team, he was pronounced deceased at the scene. I mean, 34 years old. That is just the more I know, the less I understand. Like seriously, seriously. A little bit of a lighter note. God, I said seriously, and Siri keeps acting like, shut up, Siri. Siri keeps acting like I'm talking to it. I hate that it's eavesdropping like this. Anyway, Kevin Owens. Remember we were here on the post show over the weekend? Sure you do. And I had said to you how there was some people that were commenting on, yo, that's great that we got Kevin Owens making his return and all that, but like if we knew his return was in the works for some weeks, why couldn't we do a proper video package to hype this dude up and really try to help sell the hell out of SummerSlam weekend tickets? What the hell? And I said to you guys, well, just wait. Let's wait and hear more information about Kevin Owens and the circumstances for him making his return. I said to you guys, let's first try to understand how it all played out. How soon did WWE know, and all that other good stuff. Now we got more information. Kevin Owens had revealed this on the night 2 post show, speaking to Big E and the boys. And just got some interesting little highlights here. So he says that he conceded that there was a moment he thought it wasn't going to happen, and he was unable to make peace with it, saying he was not ready. He also said, quote, I had such a great group of people around me helping me get through it. Up to a month ago, I was like, this may be it. We kept doing scans. It kept not showing what we were hoping for as far as the healing process from the surgery. Then a few weeks ago, we saw what we needed to see, which pretty much allowed him to wrestle again. So I don't know about you guys, but when I hear a few weeks ago, that says to me, okay, so like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. So if that was really the case, right? If that was really the case, and WWE was basically sitting on it for like 3 to 4 weeks, could they have done some type of a little video package thingamajigger or whatever, right? Almost kind of similar to when Stone Cold Steve Austin, we thought that was it for him when he had got the neck fusion, and somehow that dude came back better than ever. Could they have maybe done something like that, a little bit similar for Kevin Owens? They could have. They definitely could have. Why didn't they? Your guess is as good as mine. Was it a missed opportunity? Yeah, you could make an argument, but then you could also make an argument that no, we wanted SummerSlam to be about those cool special moments. We wanted for there to be something that really stood out for the fans. We wanted to make sure that the show was good and it delivered. And honestly, for me, everybody's different, but for me personally, I don't mind that they did it the way that they did it with Kevin Owens. Like legit. I don't. Nick Aldis, that one was interesting. Great little interview that he did with Chris Van Vliet. Check that out when you guys get a chance. He talked about how he found out about how he was going to do the match with Gunther while he was in Saudi Arabia, and it was like, oh shit, he's got like a month to prepare for the match. Yeah, that's like not really enough time to be able to do what you need to do. Remember earlier we were talking about the Triple H. Triple H had some interesting things to say about some stuff. I know in regards to what Damian Priest had said, earlier, those comments about seeing the same people. Triple H commented on that during the SummerSlam post show. where he was asked about Priest's comments. And he said, if you're the guy that wants to take the spot, it's frustrating when there are guys above you that have the spot. We're in a period of time where there are a lot of top performers in top sports that over time have earned those spots and are selling tickets and are incredibly popular. You really have to do something. The narrative of it's my turn, there are no turns. That's not how it works. You earn the spot. If somebody is getting over more than somebody else, we'd move that person into the spot and move the other person down. It's not just crowd reaction. Are they going to be good in the spot? Are they going to hold up their end of the bargain or screw it up and make a mistake where we regret giving it to them? All those things are factored in. The right person in the right position. I love the fact that sometimes talent is frustrated. That means work harder, get yourself there, figure it out. I've seen a million talent succeed because of what they do, not because of storyline or creative. 99% of the time in this business, the person gets over and then gets the push. That's how it's supposed to work. You go do you, and then we follow it. Otherwise, most of the time, they will choke on it because it's not what the fans believe in. If you want the spot, go take it. It's all there for everybody to take. Whenever anybody says, I don't know why I'm not in that spot, are you more over than Cody or Roman or Punk or Liv or EO? Make those crowd reactions happen. Whatever you need to do. I love that mentality because it makes people work harder. If you're not willing to work to get that spot, you shouldn't have it anyway. Look, I don't need to be long-winded with this shit. Karrion Kross, anybody? I mean, say what you will about Karrion Kross, but Karrion Kross did a phenomenal job, over time, like really getting himself over. And I mean, dude was coming off like a fucking Sean O'Hare 2.0. I was loving what this dude was doing, right? I mean, this guy was naturally, excuse me, getting himself over. That Diet Pepsi's catching up to me now. He was naturally getting himself over, able to go out, put out a book, doing some nice little cool movie stuff. Like, you see a guy that's able to do all these things. I'm not looking at that and saying, yo, these are distractions. I'm looking at those creative things and I'm saying, yeah, this guy is definitely creative. I need to figure out how I can continue to harness that into the content that I need. And Karrion Cross is a good example of somebody, you want to talk about, hey, feeding the algorithm, right? It's all algorithm based now. It's all about the engagements, the clicks, and all that other shit. Karrion Cross, definitely somebody that, is a master, him and his team, masters at what they're doing with the social media engagement. I would have definitely leaned heavily as fuck into a guy like Karrion Cross. And it's like, I would have loved to have followed up with Triple H. It's like, so is that how Cody Rhodes pretty much got where he is right now? Is because he did what he needed to do. I mean, if we're being for real, Cody left WWE. He went to go do what he needed to do, but like that shouldn't have even happened. That should not have even happened. What do you say to a guy like Matt Cardona? Like legit, what do you say to a guy like Matt Cardona? Like there's so many other examples that we could. What about New Day? New Day just somehow, like constantly able to figure out ways to get themselves over when they were being given scraps. Fucking scraps. Like this comment by Triple H, it's fucking preposterous. I'm sorry. It's just fucking preposterous. I'm not gonna waste any more time on it. It's fucking preposterous. Like legit. I don't believe that fucking comment for one little bit. Because you and I would be here all night just thinking about the people that were like, well, by this account, well, then shit, this person should have been over by now. This person definitely was taking it, right? Whatever. Whatever. Also, I know about that comment that Triple H had made. It was during this same thing where he said he wished people put their passion into the talent as opposed to the writing. I don't know if you guys had saw that shit. He says, I wish sometimes we could put that passion into the talent as opposed to when somebody gets heat in our business, it's why would they write it that way as opposed to that no good piece of crap did this. There is something to the innocence of knowing it and knowing, and it is still real to me, damn it. But it is what it is. I love the hate, the love. It's all passion for what we do. Why does that sound familiar? It's what we do. It's what we do. But it's what we do. There's a really cool video clip of Triple H. Just it's what we do. It's what we do. It's what you can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh, these fans, they need to mind their own fucking business, spending so much time trying to understand how the sausage is made. And then you're giving them a fucking bird's eye view of 10, 12, 50 gazillion fucking people trying to come up with creative for two fucking people in a fake fight going down at a pay-per-view. I'm sorry, predetermined match happening at a pay-per-view. Come on, man. You can't have it. You can't have it both ways, right? And if you're gonna be one way, then you just got to be consistent throughout. That's the truth. So sorry, not sorry. You can't have it both ways. Like legit. You just can't. He's talking out of both sides of his mouth as always. That Triple H. What is up with him growing the hair back? By the way, are the comments getting to him? I see a lot of the comments out there, there's some really bad comments. You I'm not gonna even repeat some of the shit that you all have been saying, some of y'all been saying about that dude. But like I guess he's taking it to heart because now he's like, let me grow the hair back. And me personally, I don't like the hair. Even if he can still grow a full set of hair, I don't like it. It makes him look much older. Makes him look much older. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. Come on back to the ball side, Paul. Come on back to the ball side. You'll be all right, man. Take it on the chin. You'll be all right. Speaking of baldies, Dave Batista is apparently in talks to be the new Kratos for the God of War live action series. Because remember, the previous actor that was playing Kratos, he basically got injured, and I know it's fucked up that, oh man, dude got injured, and they're just gonna keep on going apparently, and that's just the nature of the beast. That's the nature of the business sometimes, because at the end of the day, we're talking about schedules and like, yo, we're supposed to already be filming. Like, you know, y- trust me, when something like that happens, you that's the worst thing that can happen. It is. And unless it is a situation, and let me tell you how easy it was probably for the showrunner, the producers, even the execs to go, well, let's just go in a different direction. Let me tell you how easy it is of a decision for them it is for something like that to happen. If the guy that was originally portraying Kratos was already struggling with uh with the test focus groups, right? Because before you're talking to somebody that worked in market research, organizing focus group, moderating in focus groups, and all that for years. Sometimes you will have a market research company hook up with a movie distributor or a a network. Hey, we got this new show, or we got this new movie, or we got this docu series, and you test it in front of a focus group and you get their thoughts about what's working, what's not working, and then they're telling hey, look, what you're looking at, it's just an early test run, nothing's official just yet. What do you think? And dude may have not done that well with the test focus group. And if the executives were already kind of, then it's kind of like the story I just learned recently, not to be long-winded, how many of you all know the actor Mark Hamill? Especially if you know all things animation, like Mark Hamill, like what hasn't he voiced? Well, did you know that Mark Hamill wasn't the original person to portray the voice of Joker for Batman, the animated series? It's true. It's true. The original voice was my man from the Rocky Horror Picture Show and what was it? Home Alone 2? Tim Curry. Tim Curry was the original voice of the Joker for Batman the animated series. And you can go on YouTube and you can actually hear his his Joker portrayal. His Joker, boy, the way he approached Joker and the way Mark Hamill approached Joker, Tim's Joker sounds more diabolical, sinister, darker, kind of gritty, you know? Whereas Mark Hamill's Joker, comedic, insane, booming energy, just crazy abstract energy, just all over the place, good energy, right? Two unique, just completely different approaches to Joker and all that. So here's what happened. Tim, was doing the voice. Only got like a couple of episodes in, I think. It wasn't a whole. I think he done like about maybe 2, 3, 4 episodes or some shit like that, if I'm not mistaken. And he ended up getting sick. And so the execs and the producers, they were already kind of, and so somebody had made the suggestion, what about Mark? Like, what about Mark? You talking about Hamill? He's like, yeah. Wait, Luke Skywalker? Like, yeah, yeah. And one thing led to another. They had him do the voice, and the rest is history. The rest is history. But like this type of stuff, it happens more often than you think. It happens more often than you think, unfortunately. So if Dave Batista is able to come in there and snatch that role, you best believe I'll definitely whatever network ends up getting that streaming outlet. I will definitely check that out. I know a lot of you guys will as well. Shout out to by the way, I know everybody was talking about Stephanie and Triple H's daughter, Evelyn. She was singing God Bless America. You noticed during the SummerSlam, I said, hey, she did a great job. And look, I just want to make sure I set the record straight. I know there were some parts of her singing that what's the right way I can say this? That was rough. I think that's the nicest. You all have stronger language, but I will leave it at that. Some parts were rough. You know, eh, I'm not gonna make fun of a kid. I'm just not. I'm not gonna make fun of a kid for it takes a lot of guts to go out there, get outside of your comfort zone, and sing in front of a bunch of fucking strangers, let alone in front of like 30 plus thousand people. It takes some serious balls. Let me tell you something. I did a project last year at community college, right? Right before I transferred to the university that I'm at now, as I'm pursuing my bachelor's. And I had this project, and I came up with this like crazy ass idea. I said, because the person that I was working with, he was so infatuated with working with this guy that had this beer company, and he had to do some type of thing promoting this fucking beer. And me and the other guy, we didn't want to have anything to do with this shit. At that point, I wasn't even drinking alcohol anymore because of my diabetes. Like it's now at a point where it's like the family is like, no, don't even think about it. And it's like, well, can I at least have a smoke? No. Well, can I at least have a gummy? No. Well, what the fuck can I have? You can have good health. And it's like, I got to be bad once in a while. And it's like, eat a bag of chips. It's like, oh, okay, you said it, you know. So it's kind of like that. But no, seriously. Um, like this guy was so obsessed, this classmate, he was like so obsessed in having this beer be promoted. And I was trying to do an infomercial. And I had decided, like, what if I was this washed up singer that lost a lot, and now I'm kind of back, and I got this new album and I'm trying to promote it. And then the other dude's like, oh, we gotta promote the beer. And so we came up with this weird idea where it was like, what if we have this washed up singer, and he somehow ends up being promoted. He somehow ends up being promoted um by the sponsors of this beer joint. Like, what if maybe we kind of go in that direction? And it was like, yeah, sure, why not, pal? Like, let's go ahead and do it. So that's what we did. And I say this story to tell you guys, I have the footage. Maybe one day, if you guys really, really want, and you want to have a serious fucking laugh, I will release this footage for your enjoyment. I'm wearing a wig as a prop. It's a gray shaggy wig. I'm wearing this blazer, and my name is Frank Senatori. Frank Senatori, that's my name, right? And I'm singing like these little various compilations of songs and all of that. And it was my first time, like, legit ever singing. Everybody sings in the shower, but how many actually like set up a tripod, set up your camera, your light ring, and all that shit, get in front of a green screen, and you're actually singing a fucking song, right? You're singing a couple of verses of a song. And that's what I was actually doing and all that. And I vowed I'd never let it see the light of day, but for your amusement, for your enjoyment, I would be more than willing. If you want, you have to demand it now. If you don't demand it, you don't leave a comment and all that other shit, I'm just going to pretend I never said this, right? I'm willing to humiliate myself for your enjoyment. So if you want to see it, you gotta show me that you want it. I remember I used to watch Showtime at the Apollo. Really showing my age here. Popular show back in the 90s. They would do a version, and it would be kids night at the Apollo, and they would have kids sing. They used to boo the kids. That shit stopped real quick because the kids were fucking crying on stage and all of that. And so the new rules basically became, okay, look, let's not boo the kids. Let's just, let's cheer them on, and all that other good stuff. And, there were some performances that were rough, like legit. There were some performances that were rough, but, some spots in her performance was rough. Takes a lot, takes a lot, takes a lot. That's all I got to say about that. It takes a lot, right? You know what I was saying earlier? The act of kindness, even if you're tempted to go low, sometimes it's just great to take the high road, like legit, like legit. Congratulations to the Motor City Machine Guns. They're now signed with AEW. Good for them. I kind of feel like WWE really, two things can be said that's true. WWE didn't really utilize those guys to their fullest potential. But I also still feel that Motor City Machine Guns got to the WWE like about 10 years too late. If they would have came to the WWE right at the same time as the phenomenal AJ Styles, I think it would have been a much different outcome. But I'm looking forward to seeing all the great matchups they're going to be able to do in AEW. I've got Young Bucks just off the break. That's on my bingo card. I definitely want to see them Now, look, I don't know what's going on there with Max Caster's because apparently Max Caster's AEW contract is coming up soon, and I don't know if Tony Khan and them are going to be able to hold on to him. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But the Acclaimed, oh man, Motor City Machine Guns and the Acclaim, that would be good. The Guns for sure. Definitely Cage and Cope. That'd be a damn good matchup right there. There's so many great combinations that the Motor City Machine Guns could do there in AEW. Like, and look, both of those guys, they were never really mouthpieces anyway. Like their they let their words in the ring speak for themselves, right? Let them get back to doing what they do best and all. That's a great pickup by Tony Khan and crew. I did not watch the latest episode of Dark Side of the Ring, covering the life of Big Boss Man. That is up on YouTube right now for those of you that are, and if you're like me, it's really nice to now just wait a couple of days, usually the next day, actually, hop on YouTube, the Vice channel, see the episode because there were so many illegal uploaders that were just, and now to finally get a really good quality that you can watch, right? Remember what I was telling you guys a couple of weeks ago? Oh, just get friendly TV. You could just download that or watch it on your little phone browser or tablet, and you'd be able to, watch episodes of Vice that way and all that. It's nice that Vice is now kind of going, yo, we can monetize the shit out of this. We can make some money off of this. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. I haven't watched it yet. I'll definitely be watching it, and I'll sound off on that episode. And I think they're doing the episode on the fake Ultimate Warrior this week, right? So we'll do a 1-2 punch next week on next Monday show. I'll review both episodes on next week's show. Please represent if you are able to watch Dark Side of the Ring, like even if it's a case where you got to set maybe your DVR or whatever, make sure you're representing and you're checking out the shows when you can, because networks are paying attention to the viewerships and all that. And if you want to see more episodes, more new episodes, more seasons of Dark Side of the Ring, you definitely got to represent. I see the viewership, nothing too alarming, but so far this season, the Boss Man episode that brought in the lowest viewership so far, 135,000. So y'all definitely need to represent and make sure that you know, set your DVRs if you can't watch it live. That's all I gotta say. Set your DVRs, man. Other than that, just thinking some other stuff. Oh, shout out to my man. He's a we've been following each other for a couple of years. I've been trying to show him more love. Shout out to Wrecking Ball Legursky. He just recently did he re-sign or he just inked a new deal? Or he just signed a deal? I think he just signed a deal with the NWA promotion with Billy Corgan. That's somebody I've been watching off and on for a handful of years. Damn good dude. Damn good dude. So very happy to see he's going to be with them for the extended future. Other than that, one thing as we get ready to close out the show. Forgive me in advance. If you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, I don't want you guys being alarmed. I have somebody that is temporarily working behind the scenes for me on the YouTube channel that is trying to help me grow the channel even more. And one of the things that they need to do, hang on a second here. Hang on here. I'm looking at a message that I'm getting from them just now. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah, nah. So let me set it up for you guys perfectly. All right, so I have somebody that's working behind the scenes on the YouTube channel, and their primary agenda is to help grow the channel more. Now, I told you guys a couple of years ago that and it wasn't just me. there was a ton of us YouTube creators. We got flagged by this thing called reused work, reused content, or some shit like that. And YouTube was still trying to understand the AI software that they were utilizing to help them out with the videos and all that. And so a ton of content creators, including myself, we ended up having our monetization disabled falsely. And you would think that YouTube would do the right thing and, reinstate. No, they didn't do that. Unfortunate is what it is. And so one friend of another friend, and pretty much I get introduced to this one person, and this person is like, let me take a look at your YouTube channel. I said, yeah, sure. And so, I gave them access and all of that. And so they're playing around with it. So if you see something that looks like uncharacteristic, I don't want you guys thinking, was was Lee hacked? I don't want you guys thinking that. Just be like, okay, that's Lee's guy experimenting, and just keep it moving along. Just keep it moving along. That's all I gotta say. But the experimenting should be over in like a couple of days. I think worst case scenario, maybe it ends this week. I think I'll have to find out, but I think it's going to end by this weekend. FYI, I had to make sure I say that because I like went on the YouTube channel myself because I was trying to see how some of the content has been doing the past couple of days, and then I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And and then I had to message the guy to go, "Was this you?" And then he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, it's me. I'm just fucking around, trying to do some experiment." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Well, if you need something, let me know." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, sure, bet." So that's what's going on there, right? Don't want to get you guys wild up and what the fuck. So that's that. As far as programming notes, I think me and Tammy are gonna be back this weekend finally. Now that everything's really starting to get on the up and up better with the moms and all that. I believe we're gonna be back with a new wrestling with the topics this weekend. I know Tams was like, wanna go see the new Spider-Man? I'm like, does a hog love grits? Yeah, sure. So we're gonna go see Spider-Man this weekend, and we gonna go have a nice lunch out, and then we're likely gonna be sitting down talking about the new Spider-Man movie on the new Wrestling with the Topics. Go all over the place on some other stuff as well. I think we're now starting to get the NFL schedule, right? I think the NFL schedule is out for the season, or at least it's about to come out. So if it is, we'll definitely talk about it on the show and all that. Meanwhile, I want you guys to be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed for on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. And yo, if you enjoy independent wrestling media like this show you're checking out right now, show the ultimate support, man. I mean, if you haven't done so already, make sure you show love on the YouTube channel, subscribe, look up this episode you're checking out right now for August 3rd, 2026. Hit the like, all that jazz. You really help shows like this continue to stay 100% independent, providing you nothing but honest opinions, no corporate spins, no corporate agenda, right? So keep it rocking and rolling, my babies. That's how you got to do it. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords the RCWR show. And until next go round, my pretty babies, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. And I will see you guys next go round. Take care.